Okay, welcome to the third installment of How to Manifest Your Life, which can be translated into how to produce the right energy from your body that structures all the quantum particles into place so ideas, situations, people, and events are the ones that you want and not the ones you don't want, right? A lot of ways to say it. You can say law of attraction, but really, there's a lot of preconceived notions that go with that. But it basically just comes down to how effective can you be in life when you actually use your energy correctly, because it's affecting all reality, right? So this is the third video. This video is going to cover how do you master the art of manifesting, right? You want to become a master in this, right? You want to have the situations and events that just continue to unfold time after time after time. You always meeting the right people. You're always getting the right information. You always have the right opportunities. You always have money flowing in, right? Time after time after time. And that's been my experience for the last many years after mastering this art. So how do you master manifesting the things in your life? You really want to know? You go back and you watch the first two videos again. That's how you master this. And some of you are like, but I've already watched it 2 or 3 times. That's great. That's awesome to hear you watched it a couple more times than most people. But when I do a pop quiz on those videos, are you going to answer all 25 questions automatically with no hesitation whatsoever because they are a part of you? Probably not, right? Just like when you answered the first questions in the second video, the 7 questions, maybe some of you are at the point where you can answer those faster, right? Which is cool because I put the test in there specifically so you can get the answers faster. And I'm going to do the same thing for that last video, except that last video has a lot of topics in it, right? It was very dense with information. We even got one comment of someone saying how they had information overload, and so really with that last couple videos, and the second one specifically with the technique that's in it, you have enough information to create miracles right now, okay? And I know a lot of you guys, you want to see more information, you want to be entertained, you want to get another piece of, you want to learn more about it, and that's cool, and I admire that, and that's awesome. And I'll continue to make more videos on this, we'll go deeper on each of these concepts. But really, main concept is you got to go back and watch the other ones. Sorry, but that's how you do it, right? How can I help you understand this? Well, I'm going to have to take from my own experience. It's probably the best way to do it, right? Some of you guys know I'm a musician, right? I got this music shirt on. We got a keyboard here. This is my little mobile studio and stuff. You get to see behind the scenes. You guys should stop by my Instagram, which is where I have a lot of music clips, so you can see my level of bass playing, right? Some of you guys might be able to notice I may be a master at the bass. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, when I play live and people come up to me afterwards, they're like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that before, right? Or when I'm playing bass and I'm playing this intricate bass line and I talk to the sound guy to like, hey man, can you put some reverb on this mic? It's a little dry, while I keep playing the bass at the same time. And I got a bunch of people laughing because, it's kind of insane, right? How did I master the ability to play these songs to a level that drops jaws and like blows people away? Well, I practiced the same songs over and over again, hundreds, if not thousands of times, right? The same songs, right? Maybe some of the same songs that you've listened to, maybe once or twice, you go back to, you listen to a dozen more times or so. But for me to master be able to play the song, or the complicated ones anyways, takes hundreds of times to learn, right? Every little piece, every little nuance, every little note, every little timing, every little tone, right? And then after you practice it 1,000 times, You get up on stage and you play it perfect without even thinking about it, not having to count the beats or think of the scales or think of the keys or think of the chord changes. You know it so well that you can look out in the audience and smile and have a great time and crack jokes on the microphone at the same time. Right? That is mastery, right? So I think you guys can understand kind of where I'm going with this. You know, it takes repetition to go over and over again. Let me share another example to help you understand this. Kung Fu is a great example. You know, learning karate or a martial art, right? If you ever see a real Kung Fu master or someone who can basically take on anybody and win, the people that rise to the top and the people that are the most efficient, right? We want to be efficient with our thoughts and our emotions in this realm we're in, with everything is made of energy and we transmit and receive energy through our body. The best Kung Fu artist can end the fight with just a few moves, right? Bruce Lee, for an example. People that got into the ring with him, you know, they do their dancing around and he just done, gone, right? In fact, you can go even further than that. And some of the most efficient Kung Fu artists, they can literally punch someone once and they go flying across the room. In fact, some of them, they punch you once and you'll be lucky if you don't get a heart attack and die, right? And people want to learn, how do I get to that level? How can I be a master at just a one punch done deal, right? And end the fight with, you know, within seconds. Well, they practice one punch a million times. And then at the same time, they'll cultivate chi energy and then open up the meridian points from their centers to then practice the punch with projecting the chi out from their fist that then, you know, makes the person go flying or can possibly kill them. Right? So how do you do that? Well, you do a chi energy cultivation technique that's like literally one or two things, and then you have one punch that you practice, but you take it to a level that people can't imagine, right? If you want to be a master, you must master the basics. If you want to be a master, master the fundamentals. Everything is built off of the stupidly easy concepts that I shared in the last couple of videos, right? I really don't hold back. And of course, you know, we'll go further along and work on intricacies and details and things like that. But really, for I am not impressed for the person that listens to 10,000 videos on that stuff. I'm impressed with the person who listens to one video or audio or book and listens to it 10,000 times and memorizes every single little bit of it, right? And that comes from the old ancient Chinese proverb, for I am not impressed, or I'm not afraid of the guy who knows 10,000 strikes that practice once. I'm afraid of the guy who practiced one strike 10,000 times, because that one kick or that one punch is going to freaking wreck him, right? So, can you listen to that video and find every little nuance and master it? And what is mastering? It's basically getting it to a subconscious, muscle memory type level. Because if you ever mess with someone that's high level in Kung Fu, like if you mess with them wrong, they literally have this reaction to block your arm and punch you and take you out and put you in a hold and throw you down faster than you can even think to react, because they've practiced it so many times, right? It becomes automatic. It becomes habitual. And so I only gave you one technique, but that's the one technique that can change everything. This is the one punch that ends the fight, right? And then once you master that one punch to that level, you can then do other moves at that level which just makes it completely insane, right? And I'm getting chills right now because the power of what I'm teaching you guys is really unreal. So there's another way I can help share with you. I have another story. You know, and I encourage you guys to go in my description. You can find a Linktree link that shows all my social media pages. You can follow me on as many as you want, but I encourage you to specifically go to my YouTube channel. I'm sorry, to my Instagram channel, which has a lot of music clips, so you can actually see me play. So like it embeds the story better because you can once you see me play some stuff on the bass. And some of which I'm playing and singing at the same time, these very complicated riffs, then you can understand that you're listening to someone who actually does have mastery in a different subject that you can actually see instead of me telling stories about manifesting things. I think will help your belief in this stuff to then have better results for yourself. And so, where did I learn this technique of mastery? I actually learned it from... I'm in an RV, so sometimes bugs get in here. When I was young, about 15 or 16, I worked for this restaurant. Stick with me through the stories because they're really fucking powerful. Sorry, kids, I'm trying not to swear, but I have this emotional intensity I want to get out and convey. I used to work at this restaurant, and it was the Old Timers Restaurant in Clinton, Massachusetts. It was such a cool place because every week they bring this old time Irish music, this Irish band that come in, the Jug-O Punch, right? And I was the busboy. So I'd clean the tables and set the tables. So I would always be in the dining room, taking care of stuff and serving people or just serving the waitresses and helping their job. There goes Lucy again in the background. And so anytime I had a moment where I wasn't working and the band was playing, I would just stare at them and just admire how good they were. They hardly ever missed any notes. They always sounded the same, and they were masters at what they played, right? These are old timers, they must have been in their 60s or 70s or so, and they just nailed it every time. And the lead singer, he played banjo. And he also played a floor keyboard that was like, it's like a small portion of the keys, maybe one octave, and it had all the bass notes. So he had like, do, 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 while he's playing the banjo, right? And he's singing at the same time. And I used to watch this guy, and I used to just be blown away. Like, how is he doing all of these things at once, right? I mean, he must just have a talent I don't have, That's what a lot of us think. There was also a keyboardist in this band who she also played during the week on the piano, just in the dining room, just as like atmospheric music. And she was really, really good, right? And so one day I'm walking by and I'm seeing her play, and I don't have any tables to tend to. And so I'm just staring at her, watching these amazing piano pieces. And as she's playing, she looks over to me and says, "Oh, hi, Michael." And she keeps playing, right? I'm trying not to disturb her. I'm just looking, just watching her, just admiring her. I'm not trying to get her attention or anything. "How's your band doing?" Because I talk to these guys sometimes. And I told them I was a bass player. I had a band and stuff, right? And she was just such a sweet old lady. "How's your band doing?" And she's playing. And as she's talking to me in like normal conversation, she's not missing a note. She's not, no missing of an inflection of a note, no screwing up of the timing. It sounds as if she's not even talking. It's still perfect, right? And I'm just like, I don't want to disturb you right now because you're playing, right? Like, keep playing. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to disturb you. And she's like, "No, it's okay. I can talk and play." And I'm like, "How can you do this?" Right? She's like, "Well, I play these songs a lot. Like, really? Wow, that's amazing. Like, yep, just keep practicing. I'm like on the verge of crying right now because I'm realizing how powerful that concept was back then and how I took it on and then how I'm like reaching that level now. It's so powerful because you can listen to 100 different videos. You can read 100 different books. You can listen to 100 different people. But if you don't stop and master what's being taught to you, you'll never really grow with the stuff. You know? I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cry. It's just really that it's really that impactful because I know I'm reaching that level. I'm not at the level that she's at yet, but I'm definitely getting there. Because when I'm playing live and like talking to the sound guy and cracking jokes while I'm playing, in between verses or whatever, like it's really at that place. And so I took that to heart when I was younger. And I became one of the best bass players in my town, Maybe not as good as like some of the jazz guys, but definitely in like the local music scene, I was definitely one of the best, And it's only because I practice more than anybody else. There's really no secret to it. People ask me, how can you do all these things on the bass and all this tapping and chords and slapping and you're singing at the same time too? Yeah, I just play 10 hours a day. I'm just sitting here in my studio with my bass playing songs over and over again. The same like one or two or three songs for weeks. Hundreds of times. Right? There's no other secret than that. You get every little intricate part of the song, you figure out every little note, and you play it over and over, again, and it becomes a habit, and it becomes so habitual, then I can sing with it at the same time, and it's so habitual at that point, I'm saying whatever I want on top of it, right? It's kind of like when you're in a kung fu class, and you're a white belt, right? You have to take certain tests to make sure that you actually get the moves right. You get the form right. Okay? You can actually break the board, right? Then once you pass those steps, you show that you mastered the first few moves that you learned, then you get your stripes on the white belt, right? Then you learn a little bit more. Then you prove that you can do it. And then you get your yellow belt. And then you learn a little more. And then you prove you can do it. And then you don't break the board. Well, time to go back and keep learning. We're going to work on that technique that you didn't get right. Okay? Then when testing comes back around, okay, you can break the board. All right. Let's get you your, was it purple belt next? Or green or something? But the point is, you keep moving up, right? But you only move up until you know what you're doing, right? Yeah, I watched it once. Yeah, I know what it is. Oh, you know it. Then how come you still aren't manifesting what you want? How come you're still stuck on the game board of life and you're not moving anywhere? Because you're not mastering what I taught you the first time. Listen, everyone is in this place where they want to keep moving and learning, because it's almost like a brain chemical that's released when you start learning new things. Like, wow, it's starting to make sense, and you want to, okay, I want to learn the next one, and I want to learn the next one, and then the next one, and the next. Okay, slow down, we'll get there. You got to learn if you want this to work. I mean, I don't know. Do you want it to work, or you just want to be entertained? I don't know. We're on YouTube. It's up to you, right? But if you really want this to work, you will learn every little intricacy. And not only will you learn every little intricacy, but you'll practice every little intricacy. And not only will you practice every little intricacy, you'll observe yourself and correct the things that are going wrong, right? Just like when I'm playing a song and I'm playing along, I get to a part that I'm stumbling on, right? I don't know the notes yet. Oh, shoot. Maybe it's maybe I got to change what the scale is, because it's not the scale I thought it was. Maybe it has a major 7 instead of a minor 7, and so I got to switch it up, and then you play it over again. You get it, but then the next part's a little bit off, right? You understand what I'm saying, right? It's the same thing, right? Just as if you were learning a form in Kung Fu, right? A form would be like a whole succession of movements and some kind of pattern or whatever, right? Hey, maybe you got a lot of the moves right, but some of them were wrong that threw you off from the form, and now you're not ending on the right place, right? And so it just takes consistency. Here's the technical term for how this process is done, right? So, excuse me. A little sip of water here. By the way, I highly encourage notes, okay? Because you can look back at them and see the list of like, okay, these are the important points. And then when you see an important point, you have this image and this story that I shared with you, right? That's why I always share an example or an analogy, right? Because it helps you remember these things, right? It's helped me. So the technical term for this process of mastery is a 4-step process, okay? First, you start in the place where you have no idea that this stuff even exists. You can actually use your emotions to shift reality? Really? There's an observer effect, so when you look at the smallest particles through the most powerful microscope, it changes the way it changes the way it moves depending upon the way you think or the way you feel or who is looking at it, right? Oh, your brain transmits a frequency proven through the Dr. Emoto experiment or proven through the rice and water experiment. I'm laughing because of the gesture I made, and some of you are thinking, "What?" Right? So step one, you're in a place where you have no clue that this exists, and then maybe I tell you about it, and you're like, "Wow, that's actually a thing." Whoa! So then you move to step two pretty fast as soon as you become aware of it. So first, you didn't even know you didn't know. Step two. This is important to learn, by the way. Like, I wouldn't be sharing it if it's not critically important for your development, okay? Super duper important, okay? Just trust me here. So you move to step two. Then you realize you don't know about it, right? So you heard, okay, all right, so I guess I do transmit a frequency from my body, and everything is made of energy, atoms, right? That's making up molecules. That's really just mostly space when you're looking at it through these microscopes, and it creates densities, and then we have, it has this very physical experience. So I know I don't know about this, but I really want to learn. Okay, great. Keep watching these videos. You'll get it. Promise me. I mean, I promise you will get this. You don't have to promise to me. You need to promise to yourself. Okay? So you know what? I really want to learn this manifesting stuff. Okay, cool. Michael, show me how it's done. Okay, great. Go back to the second video where the technique is. And then keep practicing it. So step two, you don't know, right? Now you move to step three, where you know, and you know the technique, but you have to continually apply it, right? It's something you're learning. You have to continually go back and figure out the scale, figure out the note, figure out the timing, go back and actually be able to play it now that you know what it is. And so you do it often enough that it becomes second nature. So then you pick up your guitar and like, okay, ready to play that song? Yep. Okay, go. Hardly even looking at it. Okay. I can actually think about other things now while I'm playing it, and it's coming out perfect. I'm not thinking about timing. I'm not thinking about notes. I'm not thinking about chords. It just happens automatically because I practiced it so many times, right? And that's where you want to get to with the stuff, which ends up being step number 4, where you know the technique unconsciously. And this is where the magic is. So I taught you the appreciation technique, very, very simple. It just needs to be done over and over again. Just like the guitar can be super simple. You just got to play it over and over again, right? And the magic thing that happens, it feels like magic, is you are unconsciously always thinking of things you're thankful and grateful for. And so you're always, 24/7, while you're awake and everything you do, you have this habitual notion of, I'm so grateful for my instruments. I'm so grateful for my phone. I'm so grateful for my RV here. I'm so grateful for my computer. I'm so grateful for the lights. I'm so grateful for the stand, right? It sounds kind of corny that you're naming everything, but that's the vibration unconsciously for me, right? I'm constantly great. Oh, wow, I'm grateful for this amazing day, right? It's basic stuff, right? But mastery is built off of the basics, right? Me playing the bass at a high level is just because I played the notes a zillion times. It's one note here and one note there. And now do it. Okay, now it's 4 notes. Do it. All right, now it's 8 notes. Do it. I don't know if that was 8, but you know what I'm saying, right? So it's all, and a lot of people have a hard time grasping this because it's almost like, yeah, I saw it, I understand it, I know it, let's move to the next one. Do you have the results yet? Are you having synchronicities at a super high level right now? Is everything going ridiculously perfect? Because it is for me. So you can listen to me, right? You want to get to that level too. So just practice, like a pro musician would, right? Except you want to be a pro at your mind, right? You want to be a pro at your energy, right? So you continue tapping every time you feel bad, right? Every time. Over and over and over again. You gotta be so good at the tapping technique that you can make a video like I can. Which is why I can make a video like that, because I use it so many times, which I have the results, right? So it's very important. I mean, you should even watch that tapping video over and over again, because when you know the information so well, it also gives you more of a reason to do it, because you understand it, because you memorize the information and you memorize why it is so important, right? So repetition is super key. I mean, we see how the whole convent scenario is using massive repetition, and it's helping to induce a state of hypnosis into everyone, even though most of the information is false. Repetition works, even if it is false. So, to recap, you don't know, then you become aware of it, then you know how to do it, you got to continually apply it, then you get it to a place of unconscious competence, right? Where you can do it automatically. You do it automatically. It's at the point where I'm just like, wow, I'm so grateful for this water. And the experience for me is, in that little moment, I am completely induced in a state of gratitude and feeling the water and thinking about how it's so good and how it's hydrating my system. And then my mind gets kickstarted into, wow, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that memory. Right? I'm grateful for my water system. I'm grateful for the well we have on this property. Blah, 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 blah. It just unfolds like I start playing a song. Right? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. I can't not think of the next part of the song because it's embedded in my memory. Right? We're doing the same thing here. Now, this is an important point I got to bring up. We have this whole process of learning, right? From step 1 to step 4. In fact, I'm in step 5, which is becoming conscious of my unconscious competence, which is helping you learn, which is a whole nother level of mastery that you won't have to worry about for a while. But hopefully you guys will at some point. Here's the issue that we're facing right now with a lot of you. Okay? This is a major, major one. Okay? Because if you don't get past this, none of you guys are going to get results. Okay? You are already unconsciously competent at a lot of things that are going wrong. At a lot of things that are making you have experiences you don't want. Right? Many of you are already unconsciously competent at looking at the things that go wrong. Right? Or you're unconsciously competent at techniques that you were taught by some new age guru that you don't even know what their results are, and it sounded like good information, but it's screwing you up. Right? I can already see in the comments, right? Michael, it's so great. I love your stuff. I'm gonna use a meditation now after this. Michael, I love the tapping technique. I'm gonna tap while I'm meditating. I never said meditate. Okay, I did mention I meditate at the top of the mountain or whatever, that time. I probably shouldn't even have mentioned it, honestly. But I wanted to say what I was doing. I don't know. I was just trying to be transparent or whatever. I never said to meditate. Okay. We're not going to get to meditation till down the line. Because if you're going to meditate with your own screwed up thinking that you're already unconsciously competent about that's not giving you the results that you want, you're going into a state of hypnosis that's screwing you up deeper. I'm sorry. I know you guys love meditating and stuff. I do too. But we've learned so much junk over the years. There's so much saturated junk available to us online of people who, talk about this type of stuff when they don't really understand it. How many people explain this stuff to such a basic and easy to understand level like I do, right? Not many. There's some out there for sure, but it's a very, very small percentage. And so you're bringing these feel-good memes that you see online. You don't know who wrote it, but it looks so great. And you believe it to be true when it's false. And you have all this false information that you're bringing to the table that you're trying to combine with my techniques. Well, they're not even my techniques, but the things I'm explaining, right? By the way, I'm not making this stuff up, okay? Also, I don't use notes with this stuff either. Like, I know this kind of blows some of you guys away. I know sometimes I'm looking at the camera and I look down. That's just because of my eye accessing memory, right? There's no notes here, okay? I know all the stuff so well. I know it all like that, right? Which is why I get the results. Because I listen to the same teachings a zillion times, okay? Over and over and over again. And I know it gets boring to listen to the same thing over and over. But guess what? I have a friend, okay? Jared. Him and I learned a lot of this stuff at the same time. About 12 years ago or whatever it was. And he's heard this information and knows it just as well as I do. Maybe some things he knows more, He watched those videos. And guess what? He had a bigger cognition than most of you got. He got more out of that video than a lot of you guys did. How is that possible? He already knows the information. He's heard it a zillion times too. Because every day you're in a new place. Every day, if you were to listen to how you speak and look like a year ago, it's going to be a little different than it is today, right? And so every day we're a little bit different. Every day we take in a little more information. We have different ideas and we evolve, right? Or devolve if you're not doing anything. And so this guy watches it and he shares with me such an amazing cognition that he got out of it, right? And a lot of you guys are getting a lot out of it too, so I'm not going to dismiss that. But know that this guy who writes all of the key points on cue cards and he drills himself to get them all down, right? I become what I think about, blank. Become what I think about. I've heard that before. I become what I think about. Look in the back. I become what I think about most of the time. I gotta keep drilling that one. Yeah. I mean, he's got, 500 different index cards with all these answers on it. All these key concepts. He drills them, right? And we have a saying of, you want to know the information so much that you get it into your DNA. Because it literally does change your DNA. And once you change your vibration to that degree, it will affect all of your offspring for 7 generations in the future. Because you alter your vibration. Imagine a DNA helix, right? A double helix right here, okay? Imagine that. Now you have a vibration, right? You have a mood, okay? And a vibration is nothing more than particles vibrating at cycles per second, right? Just like you look at a sound wave. If I record some music here, you'd see, and you zoom in real close, you can see the sound wave, right? And it's, ding, right? And so a low sound wave will have wider spacings in between. So you know where I'm going with this. And higher vibrations, higher notes, they have, closer, more cycles per second of a sound, of a vibration, of the particles moving, right? The string is moving at a different cycle per second, right? The speaker is moving at a different cycles per second, right? And so we transmit a frequency out of our brain and our heart, right? And so those are cycles per second, right? It's all math, right? And so the higher your vibration, the more of your DNA becomes activated. Because if you're in a low vibrational state and life sucks and I can't do anything, you're just wallowing in this low vibration state and you're hardly activating all the DNA that you have, right? You're in a stagnant place. Listen, I'm making fun of emotions. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. We all go through this stuff, okay? I'm trying to get you to laugh at your own emotions so then you become disassociated from it, so then you become free from it and you can move forward. So laugh at the stupidity and laugh at the, all that stuff, okay? Helps you free from it, become free from it. So if you're in a higher vibration, a good mood, feeling better, more energy, you are activating more of your DNA. And guess what happens over time? You actually start to change your DNA, right? You're not going to change your hair color or, your eyes are changed, although that has happened sometimes. But more of you becomes awakened, right? Think about how much of you are you when you're sick and depleted of energy and you have no energy to do anything? How much of you are you at that point? Of course, you're still you, right? But how much are you being of you? A lot less than normal, because all you can do is lay down and, I don't feel very good, right? Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm angry. I don't know what to do, right? You're not much of yourself in that state, right? How much of you when you're excited and you're healthy and you're feeling good and you're looking optimistic to the future? You're much more of yourself because you're actually being more of yourself, right? Excuse me. Embrace me, right? You have more energy to go things and do things, call people, right? Make more activity. You are more of yourself, right? You're more activated, right? So when you memorize all these key concepts, it helps you to get into that place because you're memorizing. You know what? If everything's energy and I can transmit a frequency from my brain and my heart and I can choose any frequency I want, it doesn't matter how fucked up things are. Sorry, kids. It doesn't matter how screwed up things are. I can change it all right now, right? Just like the vibration plate. All the sand can be in chaos. But guess what? I'm going to think about the things I am grateful for right now. And the things I love, I'm just going to feel better about them, right? So I'm grateful about this. I'm grateful about this. I'm grateful about this person. I'm grateful about that. I'm grateful. Now I'm starting to feel more grateful. It's about getting to that place of feeling, right? And you work up to it. You don't go to $0 to $1 million in a week. You slowly build there, right? You don't go from I'm completely depressed to absolute complete bliss in an hour or watching one video. No, you don't learn the most complicated song the first time you play it, right? It just takes practice, man. That people just seem to forget about this concept, right? It takes practice, dude, right? You want to play bass like me? Okay, well, practice it 10 hours a day. One song. Not many people are willing to do that, so you don't see many people that can play like that. It's the same thing, right? So, back to the point I was just talking about. A lot of you are bringing in gunk from other information and trying to add it in, right? I never said to meditate, right? Are you doing other things with what I'm saying and trying to try to make it more or whatever? You're going to make it more complicated, and you're not going to get the result, right? Someone said, I like to add more willpower to this, right? What if I add willpower? You need to add the willpower towards doing the tapping technique and being grateful, okay? Put your focus there first, okay? And so a lot of you are unconsciously competent with a lot of this stuff. And so you just got to become aware of it, right? You have to be de-hypnotized from the things that you are habitually doing all the time. And it really just comes down to being aware and then replace it. The best way to replace it, to undo a habit, is to replace it, right? So when you realize that you're doing something that you learn from some place that you don't know what their concepts are, you don't know what their results are, name your favorite author, New Age author, right? Listen, if that stuff worked, you wouldn't have to watch me, right? So if you do what I do, you can become a master at it. Like I've become a master at some things, right? Maybe some of you guys think I'm a master at making videos. Yeah, I've done it a lot, right? We can go down the line, right? Think about anyone who's mastered anything and just like see what they've done. Because when you look into things like that, you'll start to understand, oh, what Michael's saying is right. Like hear what I'm saying and find it in other places, right? Create the knowledge, right? You go from I'm thinking about things, to emotional. You get it to an emotional state where it's habitual. And then you go and you do your own research and you create your own information by researching. That concept right there was thrown in a little bit too early, I think. So just let that be a seed to be planted for the future. So why am I bringing up this concept of, you're going to bring all this old information? Because this is what's going to happen. And I already see it happening, right? There's going to be someone who's never even studied this manifestation, law of attraction stuff, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be someone who watched these videos. And there are people who watch these videos who've never studied anything like it before. They're going to learn what I teach them. They're going to do them exactly like I say. And they're going to get results faster than the person who's been on the New Age journey for a decade and is confused about this stuff and is bringing in their old junk information and trying to mix it with mine, and they're not going to get any results. Meanwhile, this newbie is going to be a master way faster. Got more bugs coming through here. Right? Does that make sense? Right? It's like the musician, I used to give bass lessons, right? And it's like the musician who already started slapping on their own and listening to Flea, Red Hot Chili Peppers or whatever, and they come in and they're doing the technique wrong, right? And they are slapping with their hand. I don't know how to explain it, but they're slapping with their hand in the wrong position. Here's our friend, right? And so when I am going to try to teach this person, okay, you're going to hold your hand like this, and you're going to turn your hand, and this is how you slap, right? You kind of just like slapping down on the table, right? But this person's going like this, and they've been doing it for a year, and so now they have to try to stop doing this habit that they developed that's making them play wrong and like making a bunch of noise on the strings and not playing clearly. Now I gotta like work with them with their old habit and like, okay, I gotta keep reminding you, put your hand in this direction, not like you had it, right? And so then you actually have this freaking bug. You actually have more work to do than the new guy that found me on the Alex J show, who's never even went down this rabbit hole before. So you need to really be aware of that, right? So being distracted by this thing. So if you want to become a master the basics, right? Here's the magical thing that's going to happen, okay? Once you master this gratitude technique, I'm laughing at the book again. It's going to put you light years ahead. It's like a dragonfly, a night dragonfly or something. It's going to put you light years ahead. So when you learn the next technique, you're going to be able to learn it faster. Okay? It's like me learning my songs, right? I've been playing for a while. I got all these songs down. I can play them no problem. And then I get hired by some rock band, right? Recently, the one that wants to go on tour. When we did our rehearsals, I didn't even practice the songs. Don't tell them that. Okay? All I had to do is look at the charts. I listened to the recording for like 20 seconds. Like, okay, I got it. Listen to the next song. Okay, got it. Okay. I can just hear the whole rhythm of the song. I see the whole chord progression. There's a couple hits in the going into the bridge. Okay, there's the notation for it. Boom, got it down. Okay, I don't even need to practice it. I show up to the practice and I nail every single song to the point that the singer that's hiring me, she stops the song. She's like, "Oh my God, that sounds so good. Can you do that again, please?" Yeah, sure. Okay, ready? 2, 3, 4. Right? And she's just like, "Wow, that's so cool." Is it because I've never played before? No, it's because I've already mastered many bass techniques previous to that time that I can just do it like that without even practicing. Literally, I did not practice at all. And it was like 10 songs or something, right? I've done that before too. I get hired on a gig last minute. It's Bruce Springsteen lawyer's birthday party. I think it was a 70th birthday party or something. And one of my bands got hired to play it. And last minute, the guy's like, "Hey, we don't have a bass player. Can you learn these 11 songs or overnight?" Sure, no problem. Right? For most people to learn 11 songs is going to take them maybe weeks. But I just look at the songs. I hear them once or twice. I didn't even have charts or notation for it. Okay? I practice one night. I show up to the show. I play it. I nail it. Everyone's like, "Wow, great job." Yeah. It's easy. So what's the point here? If you master the appreciation technique I taught you, right? Do it at night. Continue through the day. Just make sure you do it at nighttime. And you'll remember, do it throughout the day as much as you can. When I give you the next technique, you're going to understand this stuff a lot more because you're going to actually start to have a synchronicity happen. You're going to have more flow. You're going to have this perfect person be there at the perfect time, and it's just going to be like, you get clues of synchronicity. For example, like this band that's hiring, bringing me on for this tour next year. I found this bass online, and I thought it was really interesting. I don't have it in here. It's in the storage room. Or else I'd show it. But I found this bass. I got it for a really good deal. It's this $2,000 bass I got for $600. And it's really, really nice. It sounds amazing. And so I find it, and I buy it. And I find out it was Melissa Etheridge's bass player that was on tour recently that sold it to me. And cool, it's been on tour and stuff. The case is super beat up, but the bass is in great condition, surprisingly. And so I link up with this lady who's hiring me for this rock band, right? She's friends with Melissa Etheridge, and she plays music kind of similar to it. And so when I brought up that story, it really it was like a synchronicity, right? Like, wow, yeah, I know Melissa, we hang out, blah, 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 we're friends, all this stuff, right? Like, okay, cool. Not only that, but we both have the same bass strap or guitar strap. Her and I, she plays acoustic guitar in some songs, and like she's got the same strap as I do. It's this isn't the bass, but we both have the same gold awesome strap, right? Like, that's so weird, right? And so when you're on the path to doing these things, you're going to notice synchronicities like that, right? It's almost like little clues in the matrix that just line up and like give you like, oh, well, that's interesting, right? Because everything lines up so perfect, right? So you're going to do this technique and you're going to start to have these experiences. Embrace me. And so it's going to help build more confidence, right? And with that more confidence, it kind of builds excitement. It builds more belief, right? And then you do it more. And then you start to notice how things unfold. And now you're starting to have an experiential knowledge of this stuff. Instead of just listening to me tell my stories, you're going to have your own stories. And that's when it really starts to work for you, because then you start to do it more. Then you can start to go like, you know what? I really want to manifest money. By the way, I just had a ridiculous money manifestation a few days ago. I really want to manifest money. Okay, well, here's a clue, actually. I'll actually give you a clue. Think of all the times you were grateful about money, that you liked money. Oh, think about all the times that you enjoyed money, right? How many times did you buy something with money? You can be grateful for that. How many times did someone get, did you get a great paycheck? How many times did you get a gift? How many times did you, I don't know, get on a rampage get on a rampage of appreciation only on that subject, right? And when you start to feel it, because you've immersed your mind with so many ideas and memories that you keep recalling and keep bringing back. And here's another tip, another concept. The more memories and information and basically energy that you bring together, is going to continually compound, and it compounds what we call a mass of energy, right? And the more energy mass in a certain topic or an idea that you work on, the more magnetic pull it has. Or you could say the higher volume of vibration, like the vibration plate. Now think about this. The vibration plate. If you have the tone and you just kind of turn it up a little bit, it's not going to move the particles. You have to have enough volume on the vibration plate to actually, then it moves it, right? Just like if you see someone play with the vibration plate with the keyboard, they have to hit the note a few times, right? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, now you see the pattern, right? And so this is what the rampage of appreciation does. And this is why I'm teaching it to you guys, because the more ideas that you build up in your mind of what you're appreciative for, the bigger massive energy it brings to you. Now, thoughts are energy. And I know this for an absolute fact because I can actually see thoughts. I know it's kind of weird, and I thought I was hallucinating for the longest time. I'll share the stories to help embed it even further, right? I started hypnotizing myself when I was like 18 or 19 years old, right? And I became very good at it. So again, I reached a level of mastery. How did I reach this level of mastery? I read the same freaking book every day. Every time I leave my house to go to work, I get my keys, my wallet, and the book, right? I'd have cargo pants that just fit into the cargo pants of my shorts or whatever. And I read it all the time, basically every day. Every time I had a break, I'd open and reread it. Every time I go off into the warehouse I worked in, I would literally open up and try the exercises and be gone for an hour and take forever to do my work because I'm off hypnotizing myself all the time, right? And so I did it so often that I really got miraculous results out of it. And one of the things that happened was I opened my third eye. I didn't mean to. It just happened. This is how it happened. This is the time that it happened. I was actually in my bedroom at the time. I sat on my bed, put my back against the wall, put my legs out straight. But before I did that, I lit a stick of incense, right? Kind of set the mood or whatever, right? And so I light the incense. I sit on my bed, back against the wall, and okay, I'm gonna do my process here. I forget what I was working on at the time, but I did it for about half hour or so. I opened my eyes, and I noticed there's a lot of smoke in the room. I was like, wow, that incense like really did it this time. It's like really smoky in here. And I'm like trying to blow it away from me because it's like a fog, right? And I notice the smoke's not moving. I'm like trying to wave it around, and it's not moving at all. I'm trying to blow it. Nothing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing something else. I think I'm seeing the ether. Now, I heard about this stuff in New Age books. Yeah, there might be some stuff in New Age books, but they bleed it in with half truths and misinformation. So you got to be really careful. But I like my chakras and my colors of my chakras. Okay, I guarantee you don't really know what a chakra is. But that's another subject. Sorry, I'm going to step on some toes a little bit. I'm trying to get you out of the daze. Okay? And so that started happening. And I also noticed like little orbs flying through. And I'm like, what am I seeing right now? Right? And from that point on, I started hearing someone breathing next to me in my bed. Right? I couldn't meditate in my house anymore because I would always hear these voices. I hear my name call, or I'm like in a room full of people. And it was really freaky at first because I'm like, oh no, did I just hypnotize myself to like do all this, to think all these crazy things? And so for the longest time, I would see orbs in people's houses and all this stuff, and I would just keep it to myself because I thought I was hallucinating, honestly. Until this is what proved it to me. I'm sitting in bed. There's this girl I was dating. We're just sitting. I was writing notes in a book. I was writing self-hypnosis books, notes, because I wanted to teach it at some point. And so I'm writing the process, step 1, do this, blah, 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 and writing my diagrams and stuff. And she's sitting there just reading a book. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a light, an orb light of an orb, I don't know, go out of her forehead and out the window. And I saw it out the side of my eye. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not going to tell her what I saw. I just want to ask her what she just did right there. Just what happened, Like, hey, what were you just thinking right there? Did something just happen? Are you thinking about something? She's like, yeah. I had this really bad headache, and I imagined light in my head, and my headache went away. Like, oh, really? Well, I just saw your headache go out the window. It's like, whoa. So then that was like a really big moment for me. So I'm like, wow, all this stuff I've been seeing, like there might be something to it. Thoughts are energy, right? Just like when you can actually see almost like a lightning storm inside the brain when thoughts are going off, because it's like, nerves can be powered by electricity, and thought energy can kind of be like that. So is chi energies and such. And so just like this girl just got a headache out of her head, right? This thought form, whatever it was, right? The same thing happens when you keep accumulating ideas and memories and thoughts and images and, your own construction of ideas and what you think, and it compounds, it grows, this massive energy. And then it will start to attract or move the particles into place depending upon your vibrational structure that you're emitting. This is also how you tip the scale. A lot of you really need to know this. To the negative energy you're holding on to the comparing to the positive. Because most of you are carrying around a lot of negative energy, right? All the traumas and the bad memories and the things you keep running through your mind and the things you don't like, you're walking around with this heavy, dense, massive energy, which is another reason why I talk about the tapping technique, right? Because it helps dispel those, right? But when you're using the appreciation technique and you're growing more thoughts and ideas of things you're appreciative of, you actually outweigh the negative, and that's when the magic really happens. Because now you're more positive than negative, and your vibration shifts more positive. That's a big moment, right? And so the appreciation does it, right? It does a lot of things. That's why I started out with the appreciation technique, because it really jumpstart your whole progression in this subject. So really important stuff, right? So keep doing the tapping. I know it's ridiculous and stupid and hard to think about when you're feeling bad, but I mean, I was lucky to have a group of people around when I was learning this stuff. So we always remind each other of these things, right? So just do what I say, right? I know that sounds weird, but just do the instructions I share with you guys. Leave the other stuff behind. Be like the newbie who knows nothing and listens to everything I say, and everything is so clear to him because he's not bogged down by all these other New Age books. By the way, the first New Age magazine was published by the Satanic Church. You can go research that. I know that you guys don't like to hear that, but do you want to learn the real information, or do you want to be in your fantasy reality? Because they mixed it with half-truths. So, you know, part of it sounds, oh, this sounds and feels good. But then they're feeding you wrong information. And then leading you down the path to do meditations that screw up your thinking because you don't know how to do self-talk yet. So once you master the art of self-talk, then we'll start talking about doing self-hypnosis and meditation, right? And part of managing self-talk is doing the appreciation technique. Because if you can get that going on autopilot, you can be a genius at this stuff and have miraculous results like I do, you know, and many of my friends. So I hope this video really helped. And please let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, by the way, first off, I want to give a shout out to Jose Mendoza, who gave me my first YouTube donation. I didn't even put out my link or anything. He just asked for it because he was just really appreciative of the work that I'm doing and wanted to support it and fund it. And thank you, Jose. I really appreciate that, man. In the comments, I want you to leave me the most real thing that's keeping you from believing this stuff. You know, there's like the trolls that leave comments. There was one guy who said, "I don't need to listen to this stuff a bunch of times. I'm not 5 years old." I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along those lines. And it's really funny because I responded with, let this be an example of what not to do, because the people who think they know it all actually are the dumbest because they shut themselves off from learning, unfortunately. You know, we know how much we don't know. We know how stupid we are, which is why we learn every day and amass a ridiculous amount of information. So I could sit here on camera and talk for hours about this stuff with no break and no notes and be very clear and lead you to success. Right? Now, as much as that's a comment that's like, I kind of wanted to destroy his preconceptions by like, well, any good hypnotist knows that the subconscious mind is like talking to a 5-year-old. So maybe you want to talk to your 5-year-old and keep listening to the audios or the videos, right? But I like those comments a lot because it opens up more of the training, because we all have a little stupidness in ours, right? Just some people, live it more than others. Sorry, Craig, but you provided a great example, honestly. So please, you don't have to be an ass about it, right? But please leave me like your real hard questions that, might be uncomfortable to ask because it puts me on the spot. But honestly, you should want to put me on the spot, okay? And you want to ask those questions because I want to destroy the stupidity out of all you guys, right? And we're all brought up in this world that's trained us to be stupid in the first place, right? So please be as real as you can and want to in the comment section. I invite you to, because I can destroy the things that are keeping you back and your disbelief and all that stuff. And I can make more videos around those concepts, right? So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.